Hello, Alucard Zane here, coming at you with a deck profile of my Pendulum Magicians. I went to regionals this past weekend on Saturday, and I got five. And I was using this deck. I got 5-3, 5 wins, 3 losses. It was my first regionals, and I was quite proud of this deck. Had a whole lot of fun with it. So yeah, I beat Cosmos, beat Satellite, I beat Burning Abyss. So yeah, the fact that this deck can go up against Cosmos and win, it it makes me proud. It really makes me proud. Alright, let's jump straight into the deck. First of all, we're running 3 Oath Dragon. He's a pretty good card. What he does is, I usually set him up as one of my pendulum scales, always. Like, I always do. What he does is, when I have another magician pendulum monster in the pendulum zone, I can, his pendulum effect is when, and I can return 1 pendulum monster, I can add 1 face-up magician or odd-eyes pendulum monster from my extra deck to your hand, except himself. So you usually want to grab back Wisdom Eye. So yeah, usually. So 3 Oath Dragon. Next up, we're running 3 Wisdom Eye. Also when Oath is normal or special summons, I can add 1 magician or odd eyes monster from my graveyard and add it back to my hand. So he's really useful when you pitch a magician or odd eyes monster with a dragon pit or dragon pulse. So yeah. Anyway, 3 Wisdom Eye. He thins out your deck. You mainly want to use him to go into rank 4 plays or do his pendulum effect. His effect is, if you have a magician or performance power card in your other pendulum zone, you can destroy him. And if you do, place 1 magician pendulum monster from your deck in your pendulum zone, except wisdom. So if you open up 2 Wisdom Eye magicians, you can do his effect, do both of their effects, because it doesn't say once per turn. So if you open up 2 Wisdom Eye magicians in your starting hand, you can do it twice. So he works with himself. So you need to run 3 of him. He easily thins out your deck. Next 3 we're running of is Performer Pal Skull Crobat Joker. When you mainly want to use him to normal summon him, and when he's normal summoned, you can add 1 Performer Pal monster, magician, pendulum monster, or odd eyes monster from your deck to your hand, except for himself. So he easily sets up your scales. Or if you want to add like a discard effect for Pendulum Call or something like that. Yeah, that's one thing you can do. You can normal summon him, get his effect, then activate Pendulum Call because he's not a magician monster. So, yeah. Next up, we're running 3 Dragon Pit. You mainly want to use he and Oath Dragon are my preferred scales. My personal preferred scales. What he does is you can when you have a magician pendulum card in your pendulum zone, you can pitch 1 pendulum monster from your hand and pop a spell trap. So yeah, he's really good. So yeah. Since I'm running the Odd Eyes build, I usually try to ditch Noble Dragon Magician, so I can get her effect when I have Odd Eyes on the field. Next up, we're running 2 Dragon Pulse. I normally don't use him as my pendulum scale. He's just there for another scale 1 monster, that scale 1 pendulum, and he's a level 4, so I can go into rank 4 plays, so, Dragon Pulse is alright. What he does is the same thing like Dragon Pit, but opposite. He pops monsters, so, yeah. Which he targets, which isn't good this format, but, he's still good if you want to pop and, an opponent exceeds monster or synchro or something like that, so, he's not bad. Next up, we're running 3 Odd Eyes Pendulum. He's pretty much the powerhouse of the deck, pretty much. I use him with Noble Dragon Magician, as you can see. So I can go into level 7 synchros. So, but yeah, when he's in the Pendulum Zone, you can destroy him at the end phase, and if you do, search a Pendulum card with 1500 attack or less from your deck to your hand. So I usually add Wisdom Eye if I do not have Wisdom Eye in hand at the time. And his monster effect, when he battles an opponent's monster, any damage he inflicts to your opponent is doubled. So he's pretty much the powerhouse of deck. I could potentially OTK with him if I have 2 of him on field and an Exceeds monster on the field. You'll see here shortly. But yeah, Odd Eyes is pretty good. Next up, we're running 2 Noble Dragon. I usually discard her for Dragon Pit's effect, because I actually like her better in the graveyard. So, but yeah, what she does, you normally don't want to use her Pendulum effect, because she's bad when she's in the Pendulum Zone. But her monster effect is cannot be used as a synchro material monster except for the synchro summon of a dragon type synchro monster. And if she is used as a synchro material, unless all other synchro monsters are Odd Eyes monsters, place this card on the bottom of the deck. If this card is in your hand or a graveyard, you can target one level 7 or higher Odd Eyes monster you control, reduce its level by 3, and if you do, a special summon this card. So, Noble Dragon is really good to go into level 7 synchros and stuff. So, next up, we're running 2 Magispector Unicorn. I'd prefer to run this over Apex Avian. I hate Apex Avian with a passion. But yeah, I can still use Magispector Unicorn because he's a level 6 and I can easily Pendulum summon him. But what Unicorn does is during either player's turn, I can target one Pendulum monster in your monster zone and one monster your opponent controls. Return them to the hands. And I can use it only once per turn. Yeah. And cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Another thing I like doing is if I open up Unicorn and Perform Pal Score Crobat Joker. Like summon Skull Crobat, Pendulum summon Unicorn, then wait for their next turn. And if they summon out a monster, I can bounce back Performer Pal Score Crobat Joker back to my hand, so I can use him next turn, which I've pulled off a couple times. So, Unicorn works. He does not have any Pendulum Scale effect. Just, you want to use him for his monster effects, though. Next up, we're running 2 Time Gazer. He's just there for a rank 8, another Pendulum Scale of 8, besides my Dragon Pit. So, same thing with Stargazer. Another reason why I run Stargazer, because another Pendulum Scale 1. So those are the only two reasons why I run Time Gazer and Stargazer Magicians. Next up, we're running 3 Damage Juggler. Useful against Cosmos if they summon out Farm Girl and they attack. So that way they don't get the search. So yeah, Damage Juggler comes in handy really, really a whole lot of times. So running 1 Trick Clown and 1 Hat Tricker. That's the monster lineup, which is a whole lot of monsters. But, you know. Spells. We're running 3 Pendulum Call. Really good card for the deck. Really, really good card. And since I'm running triple Oath Dragon, if I pitch a Pendulum monster, like a Magician or Odd Eyes, if I Pendulum summon Oath Dragon, I can grab it back. But what Pendulum Call does is you get to discard a card from your hand, and search your deck for 2 Magician Pendulum monsters from your deck and add them to your hand. And up until your opponent's end phase of their next turn, your Magician monsters in the Pendulum zones cannot be destroyed by card effects. So, and also you cannot activate this card if you activate a Magician monster's Pendulum effects this turn. So if you have Wisdom Eye and Pendulum Call in your hand, you have to choose which one to use. So if you use Wisdom Eye, you cannot use Pendulum Call if you use Wisdom Eye's effect. So if you open up Wisdom Eye and Pendulum Call, better choice is probably to use Pendulum Call, so to get the search. Next up, we're running 2 Sky Iris, because I want protection on my Magician Pendulum cards in my zones. And what Sky Iris does is pop a face-up card to add a Odd Eyes card from your deck to your hand. So the only Odd Eyes card I run is Odd Eyes Pendulum himself. So 2 is good for me. 1 Terraforming to search out this Sky Iris. I'm still main decking 2 MST. I don't see people main decking MSTs anymore, and I still think MST is a good main deck card. I really think MST is. Gets rid of floodgates and all that. One of the best trap cards against the format is Solemn Warning. Then we're running Torrential Tribute. That's it for the main. Extra deck, we're running Ancient Fairy Dragon, Black Rose Moonlight, against Teleknights, I believe. No, it was against another Pendulum Magician deck. He had a Diamond Crab King. I summoned Black Rose. I bounced back the Crab King for game. So yeah, it was awesome when Dragon is special summoned. People seem to forget that too. You can get her bounce effect when she's special summoned, when she's synchro summoned. So people seem to forget that. Next up, we're running 2 Meteor Burst. Useful against Cosmos and and all that. Because they don't get their let's see. Monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects during the battle phase. So they can't special... If they have like Good Witch or Wicked Witch or Farm Girl on the field, they cannot special summon a ship, a Cosmos ship from their hand during the battle phase. They cannot. And if they try to Honest you, they can't activate Honest because it's still in the possession, meaning cards in the possession, they have to be in the hand, on the field, and I think graveyard. I'm not too sure, but really good card against Cosmos. Rank 4s, we're running Rhapsody and Berserk, Abyss Dweller, Castel, Ragna Zero, Performance Trapeze Magicians, such a good card. I can perform an OTK with Performance Trapeze Magician if I have 2 odd eyes on the field. So yeah, Trapeze is awesome. Next up, we're running Norito, the Moral Leader, Photon Strike Bouncer, 1 Master of Blades. People usually don't see him coming, usually. But I never really went into him too much. But he's still a good card. He's really good. And we're running 2 Absolute Dragon. Side deck, we're running Mind Drain for against Frames. And Imperial Wall to go up against Cosmos and Infinitoids. And that's it for the deck. So yeah, this is my Magician Pendulum deck. So yeah, I have lots of fun with the deck. Went to regionals with this deck on this past Saturday, and I got 5-3 with this deck. It was so much fun beating. I had so much fun beating Cosmos, Teleknights, and Burning Abyss. That was only fought against 1 Burning Abyss player, but yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. Didn't go up against Pepe, which is kind of cool, but still, because I don't know how well this deck would fare against Pepe. But on that, this is all the cards in, bringing you a deck profile of my Pendulum Magicians. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.